Do men generally want to sleep with their female friends if given the chance?
Yes.
My brothers would say yes. Yeah, I don't even
Your
know.
brothers? Is that what you said? Your
Yes,
brothers would
always.
say
They're
yes?
like, the only reason they're your friends is because they're trying to get in your pants. I'm like, thanks.
Yeah, like, great.
But yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think maybe they're always down. Probably the majority. But I don't know if it's like the main goal. No, I think women and men can't be friends. I don't know.
Wait, can or
One of
can't?
the saddest things, because I've tried to prove it wrong. Even in high school, I did a whole PowerPoint presentation on
Did
why
you really?
I think it was why they can't be, but in my head I was like, no, they can, because I was in high school and I was dumb. But especially like the past couple of years with me streaming, like so many guys, you meet so many guys and you can know them for years online, and then as soon as you meet them in person, there's like this weird like just the dark shadow over their eyes, and you're just kind of like
You're like, oh, okay.
You get the vibe they're putting down like immediately, sort of deal.
Yeah, well, it's just like, so I think it was last year that I made this one friend, was friends with him for 2 years. We talk every single day. But I met him on Twitch. And so I had a favorite band and he was like, oh, we should go see them. I was like, yeah, sure. And so before he came, he knew that I was married. And so like I told my husband and he was like, no, it's chill. And we went to the concert. He left me at the concert.
Wait, what?
Because before it even started, because I gave no indication that I was going to sleep with him at the end of the night.
Oh my God.
And
Wait,
that was
hold on,
after
hold on.
being friends for like 2 years.
Wait.
Oh,
We gotta. If you don't mind, I want to dive more into this.
Nice guys.
So,
Nice guys.
was he like making like moves that like you were rejecting or what?
Never. Like we were completely platonic.
I mean, like at the concert.
Online. Well, while we were there, he was like making it really weird where he was just like, oh, let me see your Snapchat. Are you sure you don't have any guys on your Snapchat?
Wait, what?
And I was like, no.
You're,
He's like,
you're married at this
kidding.
time.
Yeah. And he was like, of course, I met the one woman in the entire world who doesn't cheat on her husband.
Oh.
Whoa!
And I was like, pardon?
God. Like with Shereen. Oh, you had to be the one who doesn't
Yeah,
cheat.
that's
like, really?
exactly how
Boy,
it
in
was. He
terms
was
of
like,
pickup
oh,
lines.
of course.
Man.
You have, and like, we were such good friends at this point.
Oh,
so it was
shit.
just like,
So this is out of
alarming.
like he never gave any indication of like wanting to be with you romantically prior to the
he
concert.
did.
Oh, he did.
Previously, like he had already told me like, hey, I'm interested, and I was like, no, I'm married. And he was like, oh, okay. So we're like completely platonic.
So you shut it down.
Yeah, like a year before, and even and then there was never any talk. He was just always so respectful. Always, we were just very good friends.
Yeah.
And we really understood each other. So meeting him in person and then going to that, and then he left before the concert started. I was just like,
Wow.
I was like,
He left you there.
Nice
yeah,
guys.
in Denver.
That's messed up. Although I'm not sure I'd want to ride back at that point.
Like with
I'm
someone
in
who's
your
being
shoes.
like that to you. That's awful.
Like he didn't
That's awful.
directly ask me to sleep with him, but it was literally like it hit a point after he said like, oh, of course you're the one woman who blah, blah, blah. Like after he kept saying weird stuff like that, he was like, are you sure there's no one on your Snapchat who you're like? I'm like, no, I literally don't. I don't do anything, bro. And he was like, okay. And he like,
That's a bold man.
he
right
leaned
there.
over, said
No
thanks
more
for
swearing.
everything.
Yeah, not a good way.
Got up and left. It was insane.
Oh, that's actually heartbreaking, especially like considering you considered him like a good friend, and then it's like, wow, like ouch. Yeah.
Like we were
Gross.
tight. So
you
after that, for sure, I'm like, no, guys.
Did you talk to him after that?
Yeah. Like I'm a very forgiving human. Apparently.
Wait, are you guys still
But-
friends?
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh my!
He's one
That's
of my
interesting.
mods for my stream.
Oh god. Okay.
Oh,
okay.
no.
okay.
Playing a dangerous game right now.
Yeah, no, but like we talked it out and he apologized and he still apologizes profusely for everything. But
Do you think it was like an off day or something, or what?
no, I think it was just a matter of like for me, of course, I'm like, I think you were expecting a lot when you came and you didn't realize it. So you kind of just,
Couldn't
like-
hide it.
yeah.
Mm.
And so like having it, a lot of people don't know how to inward seek on themselves. So a lot of the times, especially meeting so many people online, I've had to like teach them how to dig into themselves and be like, what about this? Do you think it could be this? And having them be like, oh yeah. So it was kind of like a mutual thing where I'm like, maybe you thought that I would, and saying like, it's okay if you had those expectations, but you should have known my character better to know that I wouldn't do
certainly.
that.
Did he ever approach you post-divorce?
No. No.
So after that, it sounds like maybe he did respect the boundary that you placed of like, I'm not interested in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
okay.
he apologized several times. And so I was like, yeah, it's fine. I'm like,
That does sound like you're a
Whatever.
very forgiving person.
So wait, so you said after that you feel like men and women can't just be friends? Is that what you said?
oh,
Or did I
for sure.
mishear
I
you?
think that there's always the underlying, if you gave them the opportunity,
Okay.
they would be like,
Yeah.
Do you think context
Sure.
matters to that though?
what kind?
Like, if both parties are in a relationship and they're committed to their other partners, but there's something mutually beneficial between the two. So, for example, a really good friend of mine, Mo, she does jujitsu with us, but she's married, I'm married, and it's strictly like, hey, we're here for jujitsu. This is it. There's nothing more beyond that. And I'm like, I feel like we're pretty good friends. So I'm like, do you feel like
Yeah.
if there's a mutual goal that's not romantic, could it still work out as friends?
I think it depends a lot on boundaries, especially with like marriages. And my specific husband was not the kind of person I could trust with
Yeah.
any of my female friends, which was sad to say
Okay.
because it was just like, it didn't matter who it was, because there were a lot of my friends who I knew liked him before we were together. And so there was always an underlying, but for that, it's like you're both like, obviously, but when you hang out, you don't just hang out with her,
I mean, sometimes.
but not for like, you wouldn't go out,
No,
I
no,
guess
no.
by
Like-
yourself.
Like, we'll go to jujitsu and then we'll go have lunch afterwards. Or like when me and Joe have lunch.
Yeah,
We
oh,
met
yeah.
up at the coffee shop. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, could it still work if you realize like, hey, we're both setting these boundaries. This is what we're here for. This is strictly business.
I
There's
think
nothing
technically
romantic.
that should work, but
Well, let me ask her.
Like your experience
my
doesn't feel like it fits with
experience,
that?
it's like, no, bro.
Okay.
Well, let me ask a question, kind of like piggybacking off of this. If your partner or spouse or person you were dating did not want you to have friends of the opposite sex, would that be a deal breaker for you, or would you be okay with it?
I don't.
You got it.
Oh, I'll go. So my last relationship, that's what it was. And I have a lot of female friends that I care about a lot, like Joe, for
Yeah.
example. And she didn't want me to talk to any other females because she had previous relationships where it sounds kind of similar, where he was just a gigantic piece of shit. Am I allowed to cuss now?
Oh, now we're good. Yeah, we've been doing the cussing is all clear.
But just a
Fuck it,
huge,
man, we're good.
huge fucking piece of shit. So she just had really big trust issues. But I thought we had conversations where like, hey, I care about these specific people. Not going to add any other random women to my life.
Yeah.
But my friends that I've been friends with for 10 plus years, I'm not just going to cut them out.
Yeah.
That's weird. And I thought that we agreed on it, but like, I think it's, you both have to compromise and agree on that compromise, if that makes sense.
So if both people are okay with it, not a
Yeah.
big deal.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Do you think that comes down to communicating that then?
Yeah.
Like, hey, me and Joe are like brother, sister. There's nothing sexual. There's nothing romantic. It's strictly, we're just good friends.
Yeah. And
Like
I,
you communicating that.
yeah, I think I'm also maybe a little different, that I think that you can't control people and they're going to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
So if they're going to cheat on you, there's absolutely nothing you can do to stop
Yeah.
them.
That is the one.
That's
Yep.
very true.
So you kind of just have to trust them. They say they're not going to cheat. I trust that they're not going to cheat. Then if it blows up in my face, I'll deal with it then.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I agree with that a whole lot because I'm never going to control what someone's going to do. Like shit happens. And I think like your original question, that I think that's probably the top of the list of my deal breakers. If I was dating someone or thinking about it and they were like, you can't have male friends, or like, I'm uncomfortable with that, I'd be like, that I respect that that's like your preference, but most of my really good friends are men.
I
Sure.
think in your
So,
position,
like-
that's super hard too.
Yeah,
'cause
yes,
you
it
do-
is.
You do jujitsu.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
It's becoming a female encapsulated sport.
Yeah.
But
My new gym just has guys. So
yeah, I'm like, statistically speaking, it's a male-dominated sport.
Yeah.
So I think that's hard too. Like you're spending time in a space with mostly men.
Yeah.
Right. And that creates a whole different conundrum.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So that's always been like, at least for me personally, like a big red flag of like, there isn't a way to negotiate that for me. I'm like, no, I have the people I have and I expect trust because I'm worthy of trust and I will like give it to them in return as well.